Shalom, shalom, family, and welcome back. This is Brother Maurice. We're going to talk about the vibrations of the spirit because there are many things that are taking place around us in the spirit world. And it's important that we have some understanding of how the spirit realm works because we play a factor in what takes place in the spirit realm. That's why we're going to talk about this lesson today. We're going to start in Ephesians chapter 4, verse number 31 and 32. Let all bitterness and wrath and anger and clamor and evil speaking be put away from you with all malice. And be ye kind one to another, tenderhearted, forgiving one another, even as God, for Christ's sake, hath forgiven you. Third Testament, chapter 35, verse number 14. It says, watch, take heed that ye do not defile your minds with unclean thoughts. It is creative. And if you give shelter to a bad idea, it will work its way down to lower levels. And your spirit will be enveloped in darkness. Did you hear that? Be careful that you are not having unclean thoughts. Now let's go to the sealed portion, chapter 19, verse number 12. It says, and the Lord hath commanded us to have kind thoughts towards each other, and do not be involved in rumors or gossip in any manner concerning another. And we're going to stop there. Did you hear this? Have kind thoughts. When we talk to people about having kind thoughts and the things that you think, people don't understand. They don't understand the ramifications of the things that they think. But we're going to get some understanding today. Let's take a look at the Book of True Life, Volume 1, Teaching 24. Verse number 15 says, when from your mind emerges an idea or a thought of light, in that manner it reaches its objective to fulfill its beneficial mission. If instead of kind thoughts, impure emanations surge from your mind, they will only cause harm wherever you send them. I say to you that thoughts are deeds, and as such they remain written in the book which exists in your conscience. So your thoughts, family, are works also. So you must control your thoughts. Let's take a look at the Book of True Life, volume number 2, teaching 46, verse number 28. If beyond your nation your brothers wound and kill each other without pity, abolish peace, destroy weak nations, and sow terror, misery, and grief along their paths, you, whom I have prepared, and to whom I announced these events long ago, you be vigilant and pray. Send out thoughts of peace so that your heart pour out love and charity among your brothers. More about thoughts. And we've done a couple lessons on thoughts, but you have to understand how your thoughts cause different types of vibrations that take place on this earth. The Book of True Life, Volume 1, teaching number 16. This is very important here, family. It says, at every moment, you vibrate mentally, inwardly, or spiritually. But most of the time, you instigate egotism, hatred, violence, vanity, lowly passions. You offend others, and you feel offended, but you do not love. And therefore, you are not aware when someone loves you. And with your insane thoughts, you are saturating the environment in which you live with suffering, filling your existence with misery. And I say to you, listen to this. I say to you, saturate everything with peace, harmony, and love. Did you hear that, family? Saturate everything with peace, with harmony, and with love. It's very important, family. Very important. Now, why does it say to do that? It says, and thus you will be happy. Let's go to the Book of True Life. Still in Volume 1, Teaching 11, verse number 55. Question your conscience, and you will know if you are living in hell, if you are atoning for your faults, or if you are vibrating with the peace of glory. What men call glory or hell, listen to this, are not predetermined places. Did you hear that, family? It says, what men call glory or hell are not predetermined places. Have you ever heard the term, the kingdom is within you? Let's continue. It is the essence of your deeds, which your spirit gathers when it reaches the spiritual realm. Each one lives his hell, inhabits or lives in his world of atonement, or enjoys the happiness which the elevation and harmony with the divine spirit offers. With harmony, or harmony with the divine spirit offers. It says, I am your Father, and you are my beloved people. Come elevate yourselves above everything created and draw nearer to me. Let's take a look at the Book of True Life, Volume 6, Teaching 162, verse number 39. The weapons I give you are not those that rob life. They do not blind anyone. They do not shed blood, nor do they cause pain. They do not leave widows and orphans, nor homes that have fallen into misery. For the weapons that I have left to you, listen to what the weapons are that Christ left to us. They are love, mercy, and forgiveness so that you can fight with their help to transform the bad influences into vibrations of light. Book of True Life, Volume 3, Teaching 72, verse number 39. My voice shall vibrate within the profoundness of your being, and you will feel me living with you. But you must clean your dwelling so that you will not feel any shame to receive me there if it is found blemished. Seek the help of your spiritual brethren, and they will assist you in your preparation. Let's go to Book of True Life, Volume 1, Teaching 3, starting at verse number 86. If man possesses a spirit, it is natural that it would reveal some evidence of its nature. But I have said that as long as the influence of the flesh does not submit to the dominance and dictates of the spirit, man will be able to penetrate very little within himself, to contemplate his inner light and hear his spiritual voice. When you happen to have a moment of solitude and meditation unknowingly, you enter into communion with the spiritual and have the sensation of the eternal. And that part of eternity lives and vibrates within your being. That was how during the first era, man discovered that within him was a being, a nature that was not of this world, but belonged in another mansion. And this fact did not panic him. Did you hear that? This fact did not panic him. On the contrary, it filled him with hope, for he saw that his life was not limited to a brief existence on this earth. He sensed that his spirit, on separating from the body, would be raised toward a mansion in which he would find a happiness unrealized in this world, a just compensation for his elevated ideal. I came to the world to strengthen all those inspirations. Did you hear this? Christ has said, he said, I came to the world, because we understand he's here right now, to strengthen all those inspirations, because he is here in the spirit world. And he's strengthening all those inspirations with his doctrine. And to those who dream of worlds of wisdom, love, and justice, where there are no tears, miseries, or disagreements, I dedicated my Sermon on the Mount so they would persevere in their hope. Now let's get some understanding, especially with this vibration of love, because the Father commands us to love all people, to include those that you consider your enemies. In the Book of True Life, Volume 1, Teaching number 8, starting at verse 31, it says, Truly I say to you, if this people, besides understanding their destiny, were already complying with their mission through their prayers, mankind would attain grace. But you still lack charity to feel your fellow men as true brethren, to truly forget the differences of races, to truly forget the differences of dialects and creeds, and furthermore, to erase from your heart all trace of hatred towards those who have offended you. Have you forgiven them? Have you truly forgiven those people that have offended you, that have done you wrong? Or are you still holding on to it, family? Verse 32. When you succeed in elevating your feelings above so much human misery, the most sensitive and sincere petition in favor of your brethren will emerge from you. And that vibration of love, that purity of your sentiments, will be the most powerful sword which will destroy all ignorance that wars and passions of men have been developing. Pain has prepared you. Did you hear that? Pain has prepared you, O Israel, and in your bondage you have been purified. For that reason, you are the chosen to watch over those who suffer. The Book of True Life, Volume 1, teaching number 16, verse 3. Listen, O disciples, be mindful that an atom of my presence is manifesting itself among you. A vibration of the divine power is indoctrinating you. An aura of his universal essence is illuminating you. There has not been any time in which the manifestations of God has not existed. During all eras and all ages, there was, there is, and there will be the divine vibration. During the course of time, the Father has not failed to bestow upon you the charity of his love, because in his Spirit, as in all creation, everything vibrates. Everything is activity and life. And the incidents of this world are an echo and a reflection of the spiritual life. Book of True Life, Volume 1, teaching number 12, verse 14. In order for my presence to be felt by you, it became necessary for my thoughts to resound through a spokesman. But truly I say, the universe is filled with spiritual vibrations, which you could also hear if your preparation and spiritual capability would permit it. I had to speak to you through this means in order to make myself heard, because I come to liberate you from your chains of ignorance, to break those ties which hinder you, and help you to truly understand my doctrine. He who is tied to worldly weakness will not be able to feel me completely. Did you hear that? That's why we need to get rid of our love for all of these material things. It says, he who is tied to worldly weaknesses will not be able to feel me completely. No man with a hardened heart can reach perfection. I have to make myself felt in your heart so that you may understand me. And many times I must repeat my teachings, and many times I must repeat my teachings, waiting for the moment in which you will come prepared to receive me. Did you hear that? Did you hear that? He's waiting for everyone. And it's showing that he is waiting for the moment in which you will come prepared to receive me. Now let's digress. Let's go back to the Book of True Life, Volume 1, teaching 27, verse 64. It says, I will rejoice with my disciples when the gentle and vibrant notes of spirituality emerge from their harmonious concert. For all those who are prepared will speak the language of the heart. Those who are not prepared will not be lost. Those who are not prepared will not be lost, because I am the one who can wait for the fruits to ripen. But these will regret their disobedience when they drain their cup of bitterness. Did you hear that, family? Let's go to the Book of True Life, Volume 1, teaching number 12, starting at verse number 18. Hold on just a second. Verse 18 says, "It is necessary that you understand that I have come to break the chains which have converted you into slaves of suffering, to liberate you from afflictions which you yourselves have caused and made lasting, because you repeat your errors and imperfections. However, if you are foolish in your unrighteousness, I am constant in my love to save you." Did you hear what it says? It says, if you are foolish, did you hear this? If you are foolish in your unrighteousness, I am constant in my love to save you. And if you were to descend into miry pits or to the lowest depths of your passions, I will go to seek the lost, to take them to the kingdom of light. But you need to be humble and just in order for my seed to produce in you. Did you hear that? We are told that not one would be lost. Let's go to the Bible for a second. Let's take a look at Luke chapter 15, verse number 4. It says, "What man of you having 100 sheep, if he lose one of them, doth not leave the 99 in the wilderness and go after that which is lost until he find it?" Wow. Let's take a look at John 6, verse 38 and 39. "For I came down from heaven, not to do mine own will, but the will of him that sent me. And this is the Father's will, which hath sent me, that of all which he hath given me, I should lose nothing, but should raise it up again at the last day." Book of True Life, Volume 1, Teaching 13, verse number 30. "I wish to take you to live in other planes, where you will vibrate in harmony with elevated spirits, so that you will keep on ascending without stopping. When you arise to follow me, you will not be indolent, or you will not be addicted to a life of pleasure." Did you hear that? When you rise to follow me, you will not be addicted to a life of pleasure again. You will cease to drink that bitter cup. You will love life and be in unity with all your brethren. Prepare yourselves. Go before your brethren in my name. Dry the tears of those who suffer. Encourage the weak. Lift the fallen and rescue the lost. Carry the light everywhere. Many will recognize me during their human life, and others when they find themselves in the spiritual realm. It is my will for all to awaken. It is my will for all to awaken, in order to deposit my seed of love in their spirit. You will behold that some will believe in my manifestations of this third era upon hearing my teaching, transmitted through my spokesman. Others will believe from your testimony, and many more through the writings that will remain of my word. Book of True Life, Volume 1, Teaching 16, verse number 12. Truly I say to you, those who receive my messages through their corporeal senses interpreted the divine inspiration spiritually, and they did it according to their material or spiritual preparation and in agreement with the times in which they lived on earth, in a way that is taking place today with the human instruments whom you call spokesmen or facilities or faculties. But I must say to you that during previous times, as well as present, they have mingled with the purity of the divine revelations, their own ideas. Did you hear what they did? They mingled the divine revelations with their own ideas, or those which predominated around them, and fully aware or ignoring it. They have altered the purity and unlimited essence of the truth, which truthfully I say to you is the love in its greatest manifestations. Did you hear what they did? They have altered the purity and unlimited essence of the truth, which truthfully I say to you is the love in its greatest manifestations. The vibrations and spiritual inspirations were with them. And not only the first ones, but also the last have given and will give testimony of that inspiration, which reached their spirit almost always in an unexplained way, in a similar manner, which happens to many today and will happen to many more tomorrow. The words, interpretations, and form of behavior are created to men and the times in which they live. But above everyone is the supreme truth. You, for the lack of spiritual preparation, need for the divine inspiration to materialize and awaken from your lethargy. The advanced spirits have not needed this form of manifestation. Everything spiritual in the universe is a fountain of light. Did you hear that? Everything spiritual in the universe is a fountain of light, visible or invisible to you. That light is strength. Did you hear that? That light is strength. It is power. It is inspiration from the ideas, words, and deeds. Light also emanates according to the purity and elevation that they have. The more elevated the idea or the deed, the more delicate and gentle its vibration and inspiration which emits from it. Did you hear that? These vibrations are delicate. They're gentle. They're gentle vibrations and inspirations which emits from it. Although it is almost more difficult for the slaves of materialism to perceive it. Nevertheless, the effect which is exerted spiritually by the thoughts and elevated deeds is great. Verse number 17. Materiality is contrary to spirituality. But understand that I am referring to materiality which induces you towards errors, vices, degeneration, and lowly passions. We are surrounded, family, by materialism. Look at the stores. Look at the focus with the things of the TV, the movies, the TV shows, the commercials. None of that gets you to focus on the spirit realm. And we, family, are all spirits. It puts us in a place, family, of lowly passions. Although the greater part of mankind will question the truth of my communication with man, truly I say to you once again that such a manifestation is a continuous one among incarnated and disincarnated spirits. Let me say this again. Although the greater part of mankind will question the truth of my communication with man, truly I say to you once again that such manifestation is a continuous one among incarnated and disincarnated spirits. So it's a continuous one that's taking place with us that are alive in its physical form, and the spirits also that we cannot see. And it happens from the first moment of our creation. Verse 19, if you, making use of your ingenuity and your science, which is one of many spiritual attributes that you have managed to transmit messages saving distances, how can you think that God is not able to transmit a message to man by means of a human apparatus, sensitive and intelligent? Book of True Life, Volume 1, Teaching number 6, verse 36. Live by being watchful and prayerful, and all suffering will be tolerable. Did you hear this? Live by being watchful and prayerful, and all suffering will be tolerable. You will not fall into temptation, and you will feel that my spirit, as the Father, will protect you. Be strong in your ordeals. Remember Yeshua in the second era, when he was offered the cup of bitterness, and he foresaw the pain which awaited him. Then he said, if it was possible, take this cup of suffering away from me, and let not my will be done, but yours. You who also experience pain and suffering on earth, do you not wish to imitate him? Do you not wish to follow him? The Book of True Life, Volume 12, Teaching 345. Pay attention, family. This is very important. Verse 16 through 18. It says, there are forces invisible to the human eye that imperceptibly to the science of man, which constantly influence your life. Did you hear that? There are invisible beings that you cannot see that constantly influence your life. There are good and there are bad, those of light and also dark ones. These, family, we are surrounded around us. They're all around us, family. All these vibrations. Whoops, let's go back. Where do these influences come from? Did you hear this? So we got all these beings that we can't see. We got beings of light and beings of darkness that we cannot see. And it says, where do these influences come from? Where do you get some of the thoughts that come into your mind? From the spirit, from the mind, from the feelings. Did you hear this? So you're getting a lot of these, some things that you think in your mind is coming from the spirit, the mind, your feelings. But listen what verse 18 says. All these vibrations permeate space, fighting among themselves and influencing your life. Did you hear this? These influences emanate both from souls incarnated and from beings without earthly bodies. Let's talk about this for a second. It says these influences emanate both from souls incarnated and from beings without earthly bodies. So remember, we talked about these thoughts, and we've done lessons on these thoughts and how you need to control them, because when you have these thoughts, they go wherever you send them. So these influences, they emanate wherever they go. Also, the ones that people send to you. These influences emanate both from souls incarnated and from beings without earthly bodies, for both on earth and in the hereafter. There are souls of light as well as confused souls. Family, we are surrounded by beings that we can't see. And we can see in our minds things come to us. We can get attacks also. And these attacks can come from the spiritual beings that we cannot see, or your brothers and sisters that have kind thoughts about you, or that pray against you. You're getting some real good spiritual information right now, family. Because sometimes you wonder why you feel a certain way. You wonder why you think certain things. Now you can start to understand why. We got spirits of light and also confused ones that are all around us. Let's go to the Book of True Light, Volume 12, Teaching 345. Verse number 31. It says, in the moment when a soul awoke to human life through the voice of its physical senses, it renounced its spiritual life. So when you came into this world, your body, it says that it renounced its spiritual life. And the melting pot, the struggle, the hardships, the pain, the consequences of all thoughts, words, and works began. And the unfolding of the soul and human abilities began. Yes, my children, the consequences of all thoughts, words, and works which man experienced from the beginning because of the freedom of will caused the invincible forces, those vibrations of good and those vibrations of evil. Verse 33. Those who began to live in a healthy way in the use of freedom of will and tried to obtain their own and their neighbor's well-being produced healing, benevolent vibrations. Let's go back again. Because it seems like these last couple lessons, we always kept returning back to the law of Jeshurun. And in the law of Jeshurun, we keep coming back to which law? Which law, family? That's right, family. Law number 2. Because we say that we love the Father, and we say that we love our brother, but do we really? Do we really? Let me read to you law number 2, because I want you to think about this. Because this is not just for your friends. It's also for the people you don't know. It's also for those that you consider your enemies. Because law number 2 says, and the second is like unto it. And it is that you, with fervent desire, always want your neighbor to see and hear and feel with our Father, so that they may dwell also in the midst of their Father. Did you hear that? You want all other people to dwell with our Father in heaven. And you require of yourself to interact with them in all these ways as our Father does. Now that I read that, let me go back for a second. Let me read verse 33 again. Those who began to live in a healthy way, in the use of freedom of will, and tried to obtain their own and their neighbor's well-being, produced healing, benevolent vibrations. But those who, in the same use of freedom of will, did not listen to the voice of conscience and followed the selfish inclinations inherent in their bodies, produced ominous, seductive forces. So, got things that are taking place in the spirit world, and there's a fight that's going on. And these vibrations are surrounding us. Listen to verse number 34. Both vibrations remained in the room, ready to increase or decrease their intensity according to the thoughts of the people. Did you hear this? You see why the Father wants us to have kind thoughts to each other? Because of all these spirit beings that are around us. They are going to increase whatever it is that you are thinking. Both vibrations remained in the room, ready to increase or decrease their intensity, according to the thoughts of the people, according to their previous works. But these invisible forces will not remain separate from the development of souls. No, disciples. These vibrations would remain latently above all souls and obey them according to their thoughts and works. Verse 35. Those who were inspired by the light of conscience were able to ward off the bad influences and turned to the benevolent, healing vibrations. But those who, in using the freedom of will, did works that were contrary to the divine commandment. Now, what did they attract, family? They attracted corrupting, ominous vibrations, thus increasing their confusion. And from this imbalance came the diseases and the base passions that torture man to your days. I, who know your beginnings and your future in eternity, gave weapons to the first men with which they were to fight against the forces of evil. But they spurned them, preferring the fight of evil against evil. Wow, just like today, in which no one really wins because both come out defeated. So people want to fight fire with fire because they don't understand how you win if you fight fire with love. To them, that sounds just flat out ludicrous. This is what you need to do. You, family, must fight fire with love. Let's go to the Book of True Life, Volume 12, teaching number 345, verse 42. Always I have come to your aid, and in this time, when I meet you with greater spiritual development, I have been teaching you how to fight to destroy the evil forces and the way to increase the vibrations of good. For the old beliefs, images, figures, and symbolic names with which the people of past times represented evil gave it a human form, granted it a spiritual existence. Beliefs that have reached up to the present generations must disappear. Because without being aware of it, you have created superstitions, myths, and cults with them, which are unworthy of the spiritual development that man has reached in this time. You tell me, Father, if by making bad use of the gift of freedom of will, by not listening to the voice of conscience, and by our violations of your law, we have given greater power to the vibrations of evil. What must we do to be spiritually free, to obtain the peace of the kingdom of heaven? What must we do, Father? The Father answers you. The freedom that your spirit and mind long for will be obtained through the merits of your reparation. When will you obtain your spiritual liberation? The Father does not reveal this to you at this moment. He only invites you to persevere in my law, to be strong in the great trials, with the weapons which my love inspires you to fight against the forces of evil. Then you will see coming the establishment of my kingdom in the heart of humanity, which today is divided into races, language, and skin colors, divided by different ideologies into doctrines, powers, aspirations, and enmities. You will see them remain in spirit and in truth in the virtues, clinging to my teachings and speaking my name with reverence. But how many sorrowful moments and how many temptations will you have to live through? Watch and pray. Overcome in my name. Then you will truly have achieved your spiritual transfiguration. Heaven will set in with you, and a smile of peace and true rejoicing will appear. The prodigal son of the parable will return to the Father's home, and you will experience that after so many struggles and falls, mankind will finally attain the peace promised to men of good will. Strengthen yourselves in my teachings and share this light with mankind. Tell them what is the origin of evil and how they can fight it by resorting to the weapons of love and virtue. We're coming out of a lot with teaching number 346 in the Book of True Life. And we're not reading the whole thing, but family, I really recommend that you please read the whole teaching when you have time. This is the Book of True Life, Volume 12, teaching 346. Let's continue with verse number 47. For a long time the Master has been with you. I have prepared you, marked you as my chosen ones with my light, given you my kiss of peace, that you may live steadfastly and obediently. To him who has prepared himself, it is given to penetrate into the mysteries of the Father, that he may know that my work is not a mystery. Do not feel abandoned in this world. Make use of the mercy. Make use of the peace. Make use of the consolation that I bring you daily in my words. I want you to know how to lead yourselves tomorrow and receive the vibrations of my thoughts. It is necessary that tomorrow, when you no longer hear me through the voice bearer, you apply my teachings and learn to receive my light spiritually. My spiritual world will be with you at every spiritual rally. If you are prepared, there will be no obstacle or distances for you that will prevent you from bringing this message of light and peace to mankind. You will be an example of humility and meekness to your fellow men. Through you, I will give them life and encouragement. Blessed are those of you who have grown old while working in my hall. Those of you who, as young people, turned away from the excesses of the world, for you will enjoy eternal joy. But do not speak the reward in this world, but do not seek the reward in this world, and do not expect to be praised. Let me repeat that again. Do not seek the reward in this world, and do not expect to be praised, for these vanities would deprive you of the grace I have entrusted to your soul. Respect the good or bad ideas of mankind. Let me repeat that again. Respect the good or bad ideals of mankind. But you should only listen to my voice through your conscience, so that you may be united and humble, so that you may prove yourselves worthy of the esteem of men, so that you may prove yourselves worthy of the esteem of men. Let me read that again. So we understand we respect the good and the bad of mankind, but you should only listen to my voice through your conscience, so that you may be united and humble, so that you may prove yourselves worthy of the esteem of men. Okay, I had to read this a couple of times because I'm like, wait a minute, what is this saying? But now I understand what it's saying. Because when it says about the esteem of men, that just means that men will come to you to be able to learn from you. When you show that you're united and you show that you humble yourselves, now that proves to them that you are worthy, and now they will listen to the things that you have to say. Let's go to Book of True Life, volume number 12, teaching 355, verse number 4. You are already convinced and are going the way of your mission fulfillment. You have taken within you every one of my teachings which satisfy your desire for knowledge and for attaining knowledge of the spiritual life. Learn from me. Take up in yourselves the working power that you need. I am the inexhaustible source. But do not believe that I tell you this with pride. For although I am the creator of everything, I teach you humility. Therefore, ask me for everything you need for your salvation. Therefore, ask me for everything you need for your salvation. Therefore, ask me for everything you need for your salvation. If you lack light for your mind, receive it. If you are weak in your plans, I make you strong and give you willpower. If you feel no love for your neighbor, listen to this one. If you feel no love for your neighbor and ask me for this ability, I give it to you. But know that you possess all these abilities and qualities from the very beginning, and that they have only fallen asleep in your soul, in expectation of a voice that awakens it and makes it vibrate, act in fullness. I am preparing you at this time so that you may teach men and transform the materialist into disciples of me. This word given by man has been heard by only a small part of mankind, but all shall receive your testimony and the book written by me as an inheritance for this and future generations. I no longer want to see ignorance and depression in your soul. I no longer want to see ignorance and depression in your soul. I give you the power to defeat every yoke, to rule your body properly, and to keep your soul and body in my laws, so that in the last hour of the life I grant you on earth, you may see your work completed and the way prepared, which will lead you to the high beyond. This period of time which you are currently going through is temporary. It is a moment in the midst of eternity. Therefore, I advise you to take it as a deep lesson, for it is one of so many teachings which from the book of spiritual wisdom, which each of you will possess. Gather all the experience and as many merits as possible in this life, so that you may shorten the path. The road you must travel is long, and it is necessary that you accelerate your steps. Do not root yourselves on the earth more than your conscience allows. Use the fruit it offers. Use the fruit it offers you in moderation, so that you may live for spiritual progress. This life, with all its beauty, with all the riches it offers you, is only a faint reflection of the life you will live in other life worlds of the greatest perfection. Book of True Life, Volume 12, Teaching 340, verse number 1. With love and mercy, I remind you of my words I gave you in the second time, when I taught you to love one another and to leave clear traces of my love in your way. I taught you to love your God more than all created things. But in this third time, I turn again to your soul to give it my love, my light, and my mercy. Do not depart from my bosom, for you do not know what the future will bring you. And I do not want you to be weak in that time. You are the chosen people who will set out to show the world the safe way to give it syllable by syllable the teaching I have entrusted to you. But my work is not another religion. My work is not another religion. It was the people who created the religions. It was the people who created the religions according to their intelligence. My work is a teaching, is a law that I have brought to you since the beginning of time. In the present time, mankind empties the cup of suffering and says it is the punishment of God. But the Father tells you, I am love, and I do not punish you. It is you yourselves who have obtained your purification. In this time, I give you the teaching, and you receive it through the word, through intuition, the gift of the seer and revelation. I strengthen your soul so that it will not be surprised by the temptation, which always wants to lead you away from the light. Let me read that again. I strengthen your soul so that it will not be surprised by the temptation, which always wants to lead you away from the way of light. I hear those who say to me at the bottom of their hearts, make us worthy to be a part of your apostle body. But I tell you that I will train new disciples and servants of myself who will receive my messages through intuition and through inspiration, so that they may speak to mankind. You wonder what is the meaning of the 7 steps of the ladder of heaven. And your master tells you with certainty, the number 7 means spirituality. It is the spirituality I want to see in my chosen people of Israel. You must come to me with all your virtues and developed abilities. On the 7th stage, or stage of your development, you will arrive at me and see that heaven opens its gates to receive you. I do not leave you for a moment, and if the pain is in your heart, it is not because I have left you, for my love is infinite. The reason is that the Father has allowed pain to come to you so that you may be awakened and awake. You, beloved people, are with me in representation of mankind. You form a part of the tribes of Israel, the 144,000 marked out of my chosen people. But some of you are in the spiritual and others in the material. This message of peace and comfort you shall bring to all places on earth. But the need of mankind is great. I have filled your travel bundle full to bursting with my gifts of love, and have put a word in your hands so that you may remove the darkness that wants to stop you on your way. In this third time, I have laid the table for you and given your soul the spiritual food, for it is the Holy Spirit who enlightens you so you may attain spiritualization. Elijah has been the forerunner in this third time. He has united you in the obstacle of my love and helps you to go on in this way so that you may learn to forgive, and love one another. So you may learn to forgive and love one another. Everyone who follows my teachings will reach the light and peace of mind, and joy will overflow in his being. In my love, I have granted you freedom of will, so that you may come to me through your own will. Did you hear this? People think that the Father needs to send Christ and he needs to kill people because they won't come to him. But the thing is, the Father wants us to choose him. Did you hear that? It says, in my love, I have granted you freedom of will, so that you may come to me through your own will. But since you were not able to rise up, I have come to you to teach you the way with the tenderness of my divine love. The true spiritualist will be recognized, not by his words, but by his good examples, to help you in your ascension, My shining rays comes to your world to enlighten and uplift your souls. People need my love. People need my word, which must reach to the bottom of their hearts. The Master struggles tirelessly to make your souls more enlightened every day, so that freedom from ignorance may rise to higher regions. All praises to the Most High. Family, I pray that you are able to receive this word. And I pray now that you understand why our thoughts are important, because our thoughts generate vibrations, and our vibrations will go where we send them, just like the vibrations of others will go where they send them. I love your family. I pray you're able to receive this message, and I look forward to seeing you on the next lesson. Shalom, shalom, family.